from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS 2 News at 11 p.m.
All right, get ready for more rain. It will be a wet couple of days across Southern California as a storm starts to move in across our area tonight.
And that rain is starting to move in at this hour. Sky 2 is live right now in Camarillo, where the rain is slowly starting to come down.
So what areas of SoCal should expect to get wet?
Well, let's get straight to Garth Kemp with a look at where the rain is now and what to expect. Garth.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. We're going to get it throughout the area. Just how much is the question for us? Look at up towards the Bay Area. We'll start up to the north. Heavy rain up there, a little more down towards the south, though we're still picking up this offshore flow right at the surface. So that will hamper the amount of rainfall that actually gets down to the surface. We're going to get it, but it looks much worse on radar than what we get closer. But look at the heavy cells offshore right now, moving onshore up towards Santa Barbara, that leading edge we just spoke about, out by Camarillo. So it's going to continue to start to move in through this evening over the next 48 hours. If you stick with us in 15 minutes, I'll explain it all to you beginning to end. We'll talk about some snow flying too. All that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you two.
All right, well, let's go back up to Sky 2, flying over Camarillo.
Stu, so far looks pretty clear.
You know what, every now and then you'll see one of those little drops. You know, they said go find the rain. We were trying to find it, and we came out here to Camarillo. We do see a couple of drops every now and then. Is it making it all the way to the ground? A couple of them are. We do see what looks to be damp roads down there. That's the 101 right below us, and this is all happening out here in Camarillo. And like Garth said, this is basically just the very, very leading edge of the storm that's making its way down from Santa Barbara out here to the Southland. Right now, though, very, very light rain in Camarillo. Live in Sky 2, Stu Medell, back to you two in the studio.
All right, well, breaking news now. A deadly pileup on the 55 freeway in Costa Mesa. One person was killed, and the CHP says the person responsible took off, turning the accident into a hit and run.
CBS 2 Orange County reporter Stacey Butler is live for us in Costa Mesa. Stacey?
Jeff and Pat, that deadly collision happened just a few blocks from where I'm standing, and this is the spot where paramedics say the driver ended up coming here, and it was another Good Samaritan that saw him and called police. We want to take you to this video right now. This is the scene just after 6 o'clock tonight. This is right near the fairgrounds, the Orange County Fairgrounds, southbound on the 55. We're talking about a four-car collision, and police immediately were able to take the driver that they believed caused this collision into custody. And it's all because there was a dad. He was playing ball with his kids at a nearby park here near where I'm standing. And he saw this guy roll up in a very badly damaged car, and he thought something did not look right. He immediately called police. They showed up and they took him into custody.
And he has subsequently been placed under arrest for suspicion of a few crimes, but definitely felony hit and run causing injuries.
And police say this is a very good example of if you see something, say something. That man remains in custody tonight. That's the very latest from Costa Mesa. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Stacey. More breaking news, this time in Exposition Park. Sky 2 was over the scene of a triple shooting just after 10:30 tonight. The three victims were taken to the hospital. LAPD says they are searching for the suspect.
Going to go a ways out from there. A massive 7.5 earthquake has hit a short time ago in the western Pacific Ocean. It struck 100 miles from the island nation of New Caledonia. Tsunami warnings are up, but there is no danger here in California. No immediate reports of damage after all that, no injury. New Caledonia is a fringe territory about 1,000 miles east of Australia.
A tense night in Malibu as frustrations boiled over at a special city council meeting. It's the first meeting since the devastating Woolsey Fire. Residents packed council chambers to sound off about the evacuations, new worries about mudslides, and a lot more. And CBS 2's Tom Waite was there. He's live in Malibu with those concerns. Tom.
And Pat, that meeting wrapped up just a short time ago. Residents spent hours talking to city council members in testimony. And as you said, tensions definitely boiled over. Take a look here. This is video from council chambers. It was packed out here tonight. Hundreds of people showed up. So they created spillover rooms so people could hear all of the public testimony. Some of the complaints ranged from the evacuation plans. People said it was not orderly. It was not planned out right. They said communication was practically dead at times because power was out, so that meant that the cell phone towers were not working, so people could not communicate. And now people say they don't feel safe.
We're what it's all about. If I leave here, and believe me, I'm in real estate and people are leaving. They're leaving because they don't feel safe like me. I'm stuck all the way down on Broad Beach. It took me 5.5 hours to get to the city, and I was one of those people stuck behind that big smoke thing. I didn't know if it was going to come get me.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing, that they had to bring supplies in by surfboard, kayak, and boat. Come on.
The control over the evacuation orders needs to be better structured, and some sort of transparency to when people can go back.
Now, just a short time ago, city council members chimed in on what they heard after those hours-long public testimony, and they said they did acknowledge that there were problems with the evacuation plans and with communication, and they are working to improve things. No timeline, though, has been set to see if they will have a new plan in place. Reporting live in Malibu, I'm Tom Waite, CBS 2 News.
Tom, thanks very much. Friends and family of a man killed inside a Hollywood Walgreens held a vigil in his honor tonight. 21-year-old Jonathan Hart, who went by the name Sky, died Sunday night. Friends say Hart was at the Walgreens when a security guard reportedly approached him and accused him of shoplifting. They say Sky pushed him, and that's when the guard pulled out a gun and shot and killed him. Tonight, family members told us they want to know more about what led up to the shooting.
He was so nice to everybody. He lighted up the room when he walked in. He touched a lot of people. You know, we just want justice for him. That's it.
The LAPD is going over security video and is investigating. Of course, they're investigating the shooting. At this point, the security guard has not been charged.
Developing news on the Russia investigation, revealing new details coming from a former member of the president's inner circle. The investigation is taking the special counsel closer to the Oval Office.
And the president's ex-national security advisor is reportedly providing key information. CBS 2 political reporter Dave Bryan has the latest for us. Dave.
Very much a developing story still right now tonight, but it could have serious implications for the Russia investigation. We're talking about Michael Flynn, who was a key member of the Trump campaign and also a top advisor to President Trump on national security issues. Last year, he pleaded guilty to lying to federal investigators. And tonight, the special counsel on Russia urged that he get no jail time because he's been so cooperative. The special counsel heading up the Russia meddling and collusion investigation, Robert Mueller, has recommended that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn serve no prison time for lying to federal investigators. Mueller's team filed a Flynn sentencing memo Tuesday night, which read, "The defendant deserves credit for accepting responsibility in a timely fashion and substantially assisting the government."
So in many ways, they are saying that he was the first domino to fall, but it led to a long list of people perhaps who were far more inclined to give information, and for that reason they were able to extend lenience.
Flynn sat for nearly 20 interviews with the special counsel's investigators and other prosecutors, in addition to handing over key documents and communications. Mueller wrote that Flynn provided first-hand information about interactions between the transition team and Russian government officials. Flynn pleaded guilty last December to one felony count of making a false statement as part of a plea agreement, avoiding a longer list of charges he could have faced. But much of the sentencing memo was redacted by prosecutors, blocked out and covered over with long lines.
You do not file a document that looks like this. Nope. If your investigation still is in the final stages. And indeed, there's a line in the actual filing, quote, "The investigations in which he provided assistance are ongoing." Ongoing. And that is, boy, a real clue that we're strapped in because we're in this for quite a while.
Now, ironically, on the same day that Michael Flynn was getting high grades for his cooperation with investigators, another Trump associate, Roger Stone, announced in a letter to California Senator Dianne Feinstein that he's invoking his Fifth Amendment rights, which protect him from self-incrimination. Pat, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Dave. Now a live look at the Capitol Rotunda, where the body of America's 41st president, George Herbert Walker Bush, is lying in state. Mr. Bush's body will remain there until tomorrow morning, when a memorial will be held at the National Cathedral. This evening, the Bush family, including the former President George W. Bush and First Lady Laura Bush, visited the rotunda. They paused at the senior President Bush's casket, then greeted members of the public and thanked them for being there. And following tomorrow's service, President Bush's body will be flown back to Houston. A memorial will be held there on Thursday. Then the president will be buried on the grounds of his presidential library in College Station, Texas.
Accused of stalking women in their apartment complexes.
Coming up, details on the terrifying arrest.
Plus, an unusual end to a pursuit tonight in Orange County after the suspect got stuck in a river.
This 80-year-old building will soon be home to the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. It's a project years long in the making and is set to be a new Hollywood landmark. Details just ahead.
And comedian, movie, and TV star. But tonight, a new gig for Kevin Hart, one he calls a lifelong dream.